Have you ever spent way too much time trying to figure out whether or not someone likes you? Maybe it's a classmate, maybe it's a coworker, maybe it's a friend you've known for years, or maybe it's someone you've only talked to a handful of times and you just happen to be curious. Most people don't have a sign taped to their foreheads that says, "Hey, I have romantic feelings for you," and most people actually try to hide it. Whether they're nervous or afraid of rejection, it's not often someone openly confesses. However, even when people try to hide their feelings, those feelings often find ways to sneak through. A glance here, a weirdly specific detail that they remember about you there. Keep in mind that some people are naturally friendly and have good memories. Some people are naturally awkward, and some people flirt with everyone. Let's also not forget the people who act like they hate the person they're actually interested in. So don't think of these signs as a magic formula, but rather like a collection of clues. One clue by itself doesn't tell you much. But when multiple clues start appearing together, that's when things get interesting. So as we go through these signs, you can think about your crush if you have one, or maybe think about that one person who has been acting a little strange lately. And if you're just curious about these signs, then stay tuned for fun. Before we get into the video, please like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like these, and without further delay, let's begin. Sign number 1. They remember things about you that they really shouldn't remember. Have you ever casually mentioned something in a conversation and then completely forgotten about it? Maybe it was a movie you wanted to see. Maybe it was a restaurant you liked as a kid. Maybe it was a random story about your dog doing something ridiculous. You mention it once and move on with your life. Then 3 weeks later, that person somehow brings it up again, and suddenly you're wondering how on earth they remembered that. The truth is that most people don't remember details that don't matter to them. Our brains filter information constantly. Every day we're exposed to thousands of conversations, names, facts, and random pieces of information. Most of it gets thrown away almost immediately. But when someone becomes important to us, our brain starts paying closer attention. We notice more, we remember more. It's almost as if our brain quietly places a little bookmark next to anything connected to that person. That's why people who like someone often end up remembering surprisingly specific details about them. Not because they're trying to study them, but because they're interested. And interest naturally creates attention. Sign number 2. They find reasons to talk to you. Notice I didn't say they constantly talk to you. There's a difference. Someone who likes you doesn't always send long messages or have deep conversations every day. Sometimes they simply create opportunities for interaction. Maybe they send you a meme that wasn't actually that funny. Maybe they reply to your story when they could have easily kept scrolling. Maybe they ask a question that they probably could have figured out themselves. At first glance, those interactions seem meaningless. But often, the content isn't the point. People generally spend time and attention on things that they care about. It's only human nature. Sign number 3. Their behavior changes around you. Most people imagine attraction makes someone more confident. Sometimes it does, but often it has the opposite effect. Think about it. Whose opinion matters more? A random stranger you'll never see again, or someone you genuinely want to impress? The answer is obvious. A person who is normally funny might suddenly become awkward, and a person who is usually calm might start fidgeting. A sudden lack of eye contact is also a subtle sign. When people start to care about how they are perceived, they become more self-aware, and that self-awareness often leaks out through nervous behavior. Sign number 4. The next sign is one that most people completely miss because it does require a bit of judgment. Imagine you're in a group setting. People are talking and conversations are happening everywhere. Then somebody says something funny and everyone laughs. For a split second, you notice someone looking at you. Not because you're speaking or because you're the center of attention, but they just wanted to see your reaction. It's a small thing, but it's surprisingly common. Humans naturally pay attention to the people they care about. In fact, if someone consistently seems to know where you are, notices when you enter a room, or somehow picks up on things that no one else notices, it could mean that you're occupying more of their attention than you realize. Sign number 5. They mirror your behavior. Another fascinating sign is mirroring. Now this sounds complicated, but you've probably seen it happen 100 times. Imagine 2 people having a conversation. One smiles, and the other smiles back. One starts speaking more energetically, and the other person's energy rises to match. Humans unconsciously mirror people they feel connected to. It's one of the ways that we build connection. Sometimes neither person realizes what's happening, and other times it's actually intentional. It's subtle, but once you start noticing it, you'll see it everywhere. Sign number 6. They notice small changes about you. Now let's talk about something even simpler. They notice changes. And I don't mean the dramatic changes. Anyone can notice if you suddenly dye your hair bright purple. I'm talking about the little things. A new pair of glasses, a new jacket, or just a small change in your routine. Most people move through life paying only partial attention to the people around them, but when someone likes you, they tend to notice details that other people would easily miss. Sign number 7. They create opportunities to spend time with you. Now here's the question. Would they notice? Seriously, think about it. No texts, no conversations, and no interactions. Nothing. Would they reach out and wonder where you went? Would they look for an excuse to reconnect? Because that brings us to another major sign. When someone creates opportunities to spend time with you, words are easy, attention is easy. Words can be easy, but time is expensive. People can guard their time more carefully than they themselves even realize. Which means when someone consistently chooses to spend time around you, that's worth paying attention to. And finally, perhaps the biggest sign of all, they care what you think. This one is powerful because it gets to the heart of attraction. When someone likes you, your opinion starts carrying more weight than everyone else's. Even your criticism tends to stick with them longer. And that's because attraction isn't just about wanting attention. It's about wanting connection and caring how you're seen by a specific person. So, after all those signs, do they actually like you? Now here's the funny thing. Most people spend so much time looking for dramatic signs that they completely miss the obvious ones. They spend hours analyzing a 3-second glance while ignoring the fact that the same person has been finding excuses to talk to them for months. They obsess over one text message while overlooking consistent effort. But effort is usually the thing that matters the most when it comes to telling whether or not someone likes you. Even body language can be misunderstood. But effort is harder to fake because people make time for what matters to them. They naturally pay attention to what interests them. They invest energy into people they care about. And while no single sign can tell you exactly how someone feels, patterns often reveal more than people intend. So if you've been wondering whether or not someone likes you, don't focus on one tiny moment. Look at the bigger picture, such as the effort, attention, and the consistency. Because attraction rarely reveals itself through one grand gesture. More often, it shows up through dozens of small moments that seem insignificant on their own, but become impossible to ignore once you put them together. And who knows, you might be a lot more liked than you think. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment what sign you think is the most important, and I'll see you guys soon.